Trump has once again taken a tough approach. Just after fending off Elon Musk, the focus has now turned to the top figure of the Democratic Party, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. Not only has he mobilized the National Guard and Marine Corps to suppress protesters in California, but he has also threatened to arrest the governor of California. Could this riot possibly escalate into a civil war? The trigger for this round of riots in Los Angeles was the large-scale illegal immigrant sweeps carried out by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, in Los Angeles. During this operation, ICE arrested a large number of illegal immigrants in sensitive public areas such as workplaces. First and foremost, it must be made clear that illegal immigrants are not criminals. Some of them have been working in the United States for decades. Although they lack relevant legal documents, they have long been integrated with local legal American citizens. ICE arrested people in a rough manner typically used for criminals. It is said that the protest was a peaceful march before the National Guard arrived. After their arrival, they violently dispersed the crowd, and even videos emerged showing guards smashing vehicles themselves. This clearly seems to be an attempt to frame the protesters. In my view, this is highly likely the result of the struggle between the Republican and Democratic parties. The Republicans deliberately escalated the incident, which naturally aroused the resentment of local people, hence the phenomenon of obstruction of law enforcement. Then there were masked rioters smashing, looting, burning and confronting the police. In fact, there were two types of people protesting on the streets of Los Angeles. One was the rational protest group including legal American citizens, and the other was the masked people taking advantage of the situation to cause trouble. Behind this group of people, there were naturally some groups supporting them. Law enforcement officers treated them all the same, using tear gas and stun grenades to forcefully disperse the protesters, which finally led to the deterioration of the situation. Trump called the protest a riot and, on the grounds of the danger of insurrection against federal authority, bypassed the governor of California and ordered the National Guard to disperse the protesters. Defense Secretary Hegseth even asked the active duty Marines stationed at Camp Pendleton to be on standby. Newsom took a very tough stance. He said that Trump's decision to deploy the National Guard was a deliberate provocation and that he would sue Trump for this act. In response, Trump suggested that borders are home and arrest Newsom. So, do Trump and Homan have such authority? In fact, neither the U.S. President nor any federal official can directly order the arrest of a governor. According to the 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, a governor can only be arrested if involved in federal felonies like bribery or insurrection, and only with judicial process approval. In American history, federal government arrests of state officials are extremely rare. The only case was in 2020, when Larry Householder, Speaker of the Ohio House of Representatives, was arrested for accepting a $60 million bribe. Therefore, Trump is just bluffing, crafting a tough image for himself and pressuring opponents. Why did Trump make such a huge stir? The reasons are multifaceted. First, California has always been a maverick, and in Trump's 2.0 era, it has increasingly defied the White House. On a range of issues, from Los Angeles wildfire relief to tariff policies and foreign student visas, Newsom has consistently been the first to criticize Trump. The state government frequently organizes marches and protests, actions that make Trump feel his authority is undermined. For someone who likens himself to a king, Newsom is clearly the most defiant subject. Since even Elon Musk, the world's richest man, was taken on, how dare a mere governor defy the president? A heavy-handed response was necessary. Thus, Trump directly stripped Newsom of command over the National Guard and even pressured him by threatening to deploy regular military forces. Second, deporting illegal immigrants was a campaign promise of Trump, and it's precisely for this reason that MAGA supporters backed him. Therefore, he had to take action after taking office. California is a major state for illegal immigrants in the U.S. There are about 11 million illegal immigrants nationwide, with California alone accounting for 2.3 million. As California is the hub of the U.S. high-tech industry, boasting numerous high-end enterprises and talents, it naturally relies on a large number of illegal immigrants to engage in low-end service work. Illegal immigration is beneficial to California. Thus, cities like Los Angeles officially declared themselves sanctuary cities last November, explicitly banning the use of municipal resources to cooperate with federal immigration agencies in arresting illegal immigrants. For Trump to achieve his grand plan of deporting illegal immigrants, he must first tackle California, otherwise, his actions will hardly sustain. Moreover, since taking office, Trump has failed to fulfill a single promise, for example, halting the Russia-Ukraine conflict or succeeding in triggering a tariff war to bring industries back. Unable to resolve foreign issues, he has turned to confronting domestic ones. Third, California is a traditional deep blue state and the core stronghold of the Democratic Party. As mentioned before, California's economy is dominated by high-tech enterprises and the service industry, which prefer open and inclusive policies, naturally conflicting with the Republican Party's conservative stance. Therefore, it is impossible for Californians to support Trump. Against the backdrop of bipartisan rivalry, Trump has no psychological qualms about suppressing California. After all, he can always shift the blame to the Democrats if anything goes wrong. Fourth, Newsom is the most powerful candidate for the Democratic Party in the next presidential election. His family wields substantial influence, and he himself is extremely high profile. By making various remarks against the Republican Party, he has fashioned himself as the leading figure within the Democratic Party opposing Trump, accumulating popularity for his future presidential campaign. Moreover, in terms of image and governing experience, he far surpasses Vance. For Trump to push Vance into power, he must suppress Democratic rising stars like Newsom. Thus, I believe this riot is actually a part of the showdown between the two sides in numerous fields. As for whether it will eventually escalate into a civil war, I think not. It is because the timing is not yet ripe. During Trump's current term, he wields enormous power. The Republican Party holds the majority in both houses of Congress and the Supreme Court, while the Democratic Party has been completely marginalized, essentially losing its ability to influence the central government. Therefore, they can't make much of a stir. The real time point when a civil war might be speculated to occur should be after the midterm elections in November 2026. If the Republican Party still maintains its leading edge in Congress, the Democratic Party can only continue to lie low. If the Democratic Party wins the majority in Congress, then there may be a dramatic scene. The first thing is estimated to be impeaching Trump, just like in his first term. With Trump's temperament, he naturally won't sit idly by. It is speculated that he might call on MAGA supporters to take actions, and there may even be a scenario similar to martial law in South Korea.